Blessed risings, good afternoon or good evening, depending on where in the world you are tapping in from. You got to keep in mind that Keep It PE podcast is a global show. And today on this episode of Breaking News, we will be discussing video shows DC plane crash involving American Airlines flight and Black Hawk helicopter that happened in DC. There are no survivors. I believe there was 64 passengers on the plane, including coaches and members of the U.S. figure skating Olympic team. Again, no survivors. All my FBA people, make sure you check on your family members and see if they're okay, especially if you have any that are part of the Olympic team. Let's get some details going. Take it away. Oh, hold on. That's the crash. Let's see what we got. Take it away.
There were 64 people on the plane and 3 on the military helicopter. 64 people on the plane and 3 on the military helicopter. Elizabeth Schulze is in D.C. But what we know about the victims at this hour. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Hey, good morning, Michael. We are inside Terminal 1 of Reagan Airport. The airport is still closed through this morning, but we are expecting a briefing here with the mayor of D.C. within the next hour. Officials so far are not commenting on any of the victims' identities beyond saying there were 64 people on board that American Airlines flight, 60 passengers, and 4 crew members. As you heard Witt say in that statement to ABC News, U.S. Figure Skating did confirm there were several members of the skating community on the flight, including athletes, coaches, and family members returning from a training camp in Wichita, Kansas. Russian media also reporting that 2 Russian figure skaters were on that flight. This direct route from Wichita to D.C. has only been in operation for about a year. Republican Senator Jerry Moran from Kansas says this is going to be so deeply personal for so many in his community who will know these victims. Airport officials say there were some family members here waiting to pick up their loved ones when the collision happened. American Airlines has set up a hotline that those family members can call for more information, Michael.
All right. Also,
this is
for those, listen, warning and fair use. This is the crash. This is footage of the crash, the collide. I'm just going to say, it looked kind of like a missile to me. That's just me. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that looked kind of like a missile. I'm just saying, it looks kind of like a missile. You create tragedy, a war, any of that for presidential purposes or to get such president out. I'm just saying, you had Russia involved. Rest in peace to all the people on the plane. I'm just saying that I did see the little dot. I'm just saying it sounds fishy. You asked them on the air traffic control, do you see the helicopter? Fam said, yeah. So you said you seen it. It's a clear path. Nothing was obstructing your view. That looked just straight to that. Look. I'm telling you, it looks like he's tracking them almost. It looks like a missile. Look how straight. That's an accident. You're telling me, look how bright the lights is. You can't see that? You're telling me you can't see that. Once again, I'm not trying to be no conspiracy theories. I'm telling you to look at your own eyes. What do your eyes tell you? This don't pass the smell test. Hello, McFlizzle, not trying to tell you what to think, trying to show you what to think. That's why we break down the articles the way that we do here on the Keep It PE podcast, where we take news situations and everyday occurrences and we show how one could or cannot be keeping it P. And hello, today I'm your host, TZ Von Savage, in a place to be. Use your... That don't look like it's tracing them right to it. That looks like a heat-seeking almost missile. like it locked on, like it's engaged and it has the radar locked on, heat seeking, and it goes right for the plane. Come on, we don't see this. Well, how do you expect me to think anything other than that was on purpose? I'm not trying to take away from the families going through tragedy, the loved ones who may or may not know that their loved one has even passed. I'm not trying to downplay the husband receiving texts from his wife before she left, and the last messages and the last time you spoke to your loved one. I'm just saying this looks like it's on purpose. I don't know the reason. I just gave you a couple. I'm just telling you, use your head. Look at what you're looking at. Do you see that? That's all I'm saying. Do you see the path? This is what they're saying happened. Do you look and do you see it? I'm just telling you to think about it. Think about what your eyes are telling you. We'll go back.
And you can see there off in the distance. Take a look. You see that flash in the distance right there? We'll go in a little tighter on it. You can see to the left there's a plane that looks like coming in. There's a brighter light. And right there, you'll see that horrific fireball.
So he couldn't see
and
that?
then, as Steve talked about, you can see whatever is left afterwards falling down pretty quickly. I want to bring Aaron Katersky in. He's sitting here with me watching that, Aaron. It's so difficult to watch because we're already being told there are water rescues being made. Everybody's hoping beyond hope that they're pulling people who are survivors,
there were no survivors
of this crash out of the Potomac. But we do know that there are going to be casualties here.
Undoubtedly, Phil, and probably several that we're hearing already confirmed, but we don't have firm numbers yet because those teams are working furiously to find any survivors they can. Both of the aircraft, the commercial jet operating under the American Airlines banner coming in from Wichita with about 60 people aboard, and the military Black Hawk helicopter from the United States Army. Both of those, what's left of them anyway, ended up in the Potomac. It had just started to thaw after being iced over for weeks, so the conditions are suboptimal.
Yeah, it's similar to the Hudson here that had been thawed, that had been iced over, and now it's thawed. And it reminds me of the scene we see here in New York a lot, with so many helicopters flying near the flight path.
And when there was a collision over the Hudson River of a tourist helicopter and another commercial aviation, they put a stop to that. Now, this is different. This is a military helicopter and one of the busiest airports in the country. And Steve Ganyard can speak to that better than I can. But the one question will be why there was not a deconfliction here. But that's going to wait because the urgent priority right now for teams that are in the water, and you can see how many emergency vehicles are massed on the edge of the Potomac, is to try to find any survivors.
No survivors. Just to let you know.
Jay, this airport has been shut down since this happened. Tell me what you're seeing and what you're hearing there.
I mean, Phil, this is a usually bustling airport, and as you can see around me, it is completely empty. It is completely devoid of all people. And I'm going to switch the camera around, if you don't mind, just to give you a better sense of that. So this is the arrivals area of Reagan Airport. Again, this is an incredibly busy airport. It is the only airport that is inside, or adjacent to, rather, the city of Washington, D.C. It's across the river in Virginia. And usually it's a lot fuller than this. Now, everyone who was in this airport has been cleared out since they closed the airport. I've talked to the few stragglers that remain, and a lot of them are in the process of leaving. They say that they don't really know what's next for them. A lot of their trips were put on hold. Some of them were going to try to drive the variation of their route. They're booking hotels. They're talking to their airlines. There are a few people that seem to believe that they're going to be able to be rebooked on flights tomorrow morning. They may have heard that, they say, from their airlines, but obviously It remains to be seen if that's going to be feasible at this hour, given the large-scale search and rescue effort, and of course the fact that this airport is completely shut down right now around what is it, just about 11 o'clock or so. Again, the airport completely devoid of people. You can see a few stragglers here and there leaving. And the reality here is, Phil, for these travelers that I've talked to, there is this sense of frustration, but also this sense of shock, a sense of shock that so many of us feel, given how significant of an incident this appears to have been, and people who were on airplanes, many of them having just landed and experiencing the shock of figuring out, some of them as they deplaned, exactly what was going on.
Yeah, and if they're hoping to get out, it's going to be from another airport tomorrow. We're told that the airport you are in, Reagan, is going to be closed. DCA is going to be closed until at least 5 o'clock Friday morning. If you know the DC area, there is another airport 30, 40 minutes away from there. But Jay, thank you for that.
I want to show y'all this again. Pay attention. Pay attention, right? What's that look like to you? Here's the crash. Pay attention. You didn't see that? He asked you, do you see the helicopter? You said, yeah. Air traffic control, do you see the helicopter? Yeah. Looks like you're running right into it. That's all I'm saying, people. Use your head. Believe your eyes. They want to tell you, don't believe your lying eyes, but you see what you see. Now, the question is, if that's on purpose, why? Why was it done on purpose? Why? We can
get this video, and I'm seeing, there are choppers above with their lights on the water. They are doing everything they can to get everybody out of the water who is still alive.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. I mean, this is a frantic search because as we get further and further into the night, the temperature is lowering. It is now below 40 degrees. It is chilly out here. And so you can only feel for those, that may have still survived this terrible crash that might be in that water behind me. But I can tell you the response here has been massive. We were at a staging area about a half mile from here. And as the witness was telling you, we saw fire trucks from all sorts of counties around the DMV. We saw first responders, police, different agencies, swiftwater rescue boats, dive teams gearing up, and most of them have now made their way over across where you see that sea of red lights there in the distance. I can tell you that I was speaking to one airport worker here who says that he saw this crash. He said that he could hear the chopper hovering around for a number of minutes. But when that collision happened, it was a thud, and he could see that fireball as it descended over there towards the water on the south end here. But the airport right now, very much shut off completely. The only people that are up here are first responders and other members of the press. It is a frantic search here for any other possible survivors, Phil.
Yeah, and that airport is going to be closed down at least until Friday at 5 a.m., and that's more than 24 hours. This just doesn't happen at airports in this country unless something has terribly gone wrong, and it has here. This is the worst aviation disaster since 2009.
All right, I'm not going to hold you. I'm just going to
And good evening, I'm Phil Lipoff at ABC News headquarters in New York. We are coming on the air because we are learning that a regional jet has gone down near Reagan National Airport there in D.C. You're looking at the Potomac, and you're looking at a massive response to this incident. I want to go to aviation expert right now, Steve Ganyard. Steve, talk to us about what you know right now.
Phil, the White House has confirmed that a U.S. Army H-60 Black Hawk helicopter collided with this regional jet. The regional jet was on approach to runway 33 at Reagan. So if you've been to DCA before, you know that there are multiple runways, and most of the time when you land on a larger aircraft, you're landing on the long runway, which is almost north-south. But there are a couple of shorter runways that are used for the smaller regional jets. Runway 33 is one of those. So if you are at Reagan National and you are on runway 33, you would sort of be pointing up towards Northwest D.C., towards National Cathedral, towards the Kennedy Center. So
well, we'll keep you updated. I'm not going to hold you. I'm just going to mold you, fold you, and scold you about being off code. And I'll leave you with 4 words as we always do around this time. Subscribe for the vibe, like for the spike, comment your vomit, and share if you care, if you dare, to get Black empowerment everywhere. We are on all of the platforms: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook. Come and take a look. You might get hooked, but don't get shook about the imposter Keep It P podcasts that are out there. Love, peace, blessings, and maloha. I gotta go ha for sure ha. You already know ha. Big Brother Light Bright Supremo Might T signing off.
So why this Army
FBA fixation. It's just that FBA fixation, y'all.